Hi everyone, so before the video starts, I just wanted to say that I restarted my realistic roleplay, so this video is from the new one, and it's kind of gonna start my realistic roleplay off on a good note with a new horse, which is pretty exciting I think. I just wanted something that I connected with a bit more, and I didn't feel like I connected with my old one because it wasn't like me at all in real life, and it wasn't like the person I wanted to be in real life. One chilly morning, I decided to head out to the South Hoof Horse Rescue. They had tried to arrange a big sales auction because they had overfilled, because there were a few mass rescues that had happened, and I was looking for a new project horse or a pony jumper to keep forever. It just kind of depended, but I knew that I wanted to do something because there weren't many people there, and I was hoping it would be a little bit busier, that way more horses would get adopted, so I kind of knew that I would have to come home with something. So I drove right over to the parking area, and then I talked to some volunteers about where the horses were, and I asked some questions about the horses. They asked what type of horse I was looking for, so I just explained to them that I was pretty flexible, but I was kind of wanting a pony jumper that could be my forever horse, but I was also fine with a project that I could resell later. The volunteer pointed me over to this little paddock, and it had lots of the rescue animals in it, but obviously I was looking at the horses, and then immediately that shiny little buckskin pony caught my eye, so I went and asked the volunteer more about him and if I could get him out and look at him a bit closer. The volunteer had said that his name was Starlight and that he was definitely one of the favorites around the rescue. He had a super goofy personality, but he could also be super mischievous, and he was a bit of an escape artist. I thought he was adorable though. They did recommend if I put him in a stall, double locking it with a chain, just because he figured out how to open stalls, which is not too good. So I really liked him when I was looking at him. He seemed to have nice conformation, and he was actually surprisingly well-mannered. He didn't wiggle around too much on the cross ties. The volunteer had said that he was from a really neglected situation, but he hadn't really been abused with humans, so he wasn't really scared of humans, which I thought would be a good thing. So next I got him out with the volunteer and we just lunged him because I wanted to look at his movement and just make sure that he was pretty sound. He did look pretty sound, but I did have him get a pre-purchase exam before I actually bought him, just because I wanted to make sure that everything was definitely good. And he's such a cute little mover. His trot was literally so bouncy looking. It looked like he had so much suspension, and I just thought it was adorable. So next the volunteer just turned him out in the little pen, and we watched him kind of run around. He seemed super playful, and I was like, oh my gosh, this horse is going to be a handful. But I still thought he would be fun, and the plan was that if we didn't click together and I didn't want him to be my forever pony, that he would just be a project and I could train him, take him to a few shows, and then resell him. I just wanted to point out that the rescue actually had an on-site vet, and they could do a pre-purchase exam for me, which was really nice. So I just stood out there and kind of waited for the vet to show up, and I was so happy that he passed his pre-purchase exam since I was kind of worried. So because of this, that means he's officially my first pony. I've never bought a horse or pony before. I've leased and I have off-site leased, and I've even trained a few horses at my barn, but I've never had one of my own, so this was so exciting. He was very well behaved about getting in the trailer and loading. So next it was the not too long drive back to Starshine Ranch, because that's where I would be boarding him. The reason I'm boarding him there, even though I mainly ride English, is because I have a job there, and because of my job I get discounted boarding, which was so nice because I am 16 and I'm paying for him myself basically, since my parents didn't have the money to buy me a horse. So I decided to go to Starshine because that was honestly the only place that I could really afford. I honestly felt very accomplished being able to buy a horse completely by myself, which I thought was so cool. I guess I didn't really think that I'd ever be able to have a horse of my own. So now I'm just going to give a little bit of information on him. He is a 13-1, 4-year-old purebred Gotland pony. He was rescued from a neglected situation. not an abused one, thankfully, which will make it a little bit easier to train him, which is nice because I haven't trained a horse for a bit and he seems like he's already going to be a bit of a handful. Immediately after he arrived, I decided that I was going to put him in the round pen and he could just chill out there and get used to his new surroundings, since moving to a new home is generally pretty big and it can be really stressful for the horses. So I was hoping that just being in a round pen would be good, and he's going to be introduced to friends later, but I wanted to just get him settled in at the new barn first before putting him in a paddock with other horses. He seemed like he was really nervous, like he was running back and forth and pacing a lot, but I was told that that was normal. It can just be a bit of a change for him, and he'll get used to it eventually, and then he'll settle in and stop. But he did it for quite a while, so I decided to move him to a stall a bit later. You'll see that. After he didn't stop pacing for a few hours, I decided to just move him to a stall and then hope that maybe he could calm down a little. It didn't really work, he still wiggled around in the stall a lot, but I'm hoping that he'll just settle in a bit later and then he'll be fine. This is honestly so exciting for me to be able to have my first pony. So this video is going to be pretty short unless I include clips of the second day working with him. So I think I'm going to include the clips of the second day working with him, and then it'll be a little more interesting and a bit longer. So yeah. So here are some of the clips of me riding him from the second day. He was literally so amazing. I was not sure what to expect at all, because I'd never ridden him before. I know that the volunteers said that he could do walk, trot, canter pretty well under saddle, and he was just starting to go over small cross rails at a trot, and I thought that was really cool. I was excited that he was doing so well. The plan was just to ride him in the round pen, and then if he handled that well, maybe we could go out in the really big arena and just walk around and maybe do a few trot strides if he handled it well. And he did, so we were actually able to go out in the big arena. He was so responsive to my walk and trot cues. Sometimes we did it accidentally, but most of the time it was intentionally. I really liked him. He definitely held his head up a bit higher, but we can work on that and getting him into frame since it was kind of resistive. But I liked him a lot, and I was so happy that he's my pony. He's going to be so fun to train and work with. Because his behavior was so good, I did get to ride him in the big arena, so I just walked him around. It was only like 5 minutes because I didn't want to push it just because he's still green, and I don't think he's ever been ridden in an arena that's really big before, because they said the only place he'd been ridden was a small little arena at South Hoof. So this was definitely a big step up, and I was glad he handled it like a champ. I wanted to do a change through the middle and just see how that went, and he was fine. I mean, he's just been really chill the second day. I was kind of nervous after just how hectic things felt yesterday, but he's definitely settled down, and I think he's going to be cool to work with. He seems like he has a good brain on him, even if he is a little ornery. So there I asked him for just a few trot strides because I didn't want to trot like a full lap or anything. I don't think he's in the best shape yet either, but I'd love to work on getting him in shape later. I just didn't want to push it right now. And then I walked and I decided to end on that note since it was really good. So that wraps up today's video. I was so excited about our journey together and just I have a really good feeling about this. And I also just wanted to say thanks for the support on my recent realistic roleplay videos. It has been so much more than I'm used to, and it's just really nice. I'm a really small YouTuber, and the algorithm doesn't seem to like me. So everyone who subscribes, it really, really helps the channel. So just thank you, and thanks for watching the video. Bye!